Hey everybody, Sam Crowley, welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to get started in just a second here. How's everybody doing? You having an amazing start to your week? Quick question, as always, if you could just type into the chat. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see? Well, obviously you can hear. Jeff said awesome. Karen said yes. Great. Awesome. So you can hear and you can see. You should be looking at iTunes as usual. See and hear. Well, that's a bonus. I didn't even charge any more for being able to see and to hear. That is awesome. That is just awesome. Okay. We're going to get going right on time here at the top of the hour. Use this live webinar because you are on it for Q&A. You have any questions from the first webinar, second webinar, fire them in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. This is the benefit of being on live versus watching the replay. You can actually get all your questions answered. So if you have any questions relative to Audacity, iTunes, WordPress, hosting, anything like that, feel free to answer them. And how's it going so far? You guys enjoying the training? Anything that you want to make sure gets covered? Whether we're last 2 weeks, we're all done with the tech stuff, guys. So that should be a big sigh of relief. No more tech. Art, love it. Stacy, love it. Beautiful. Thank you. Yay from Jeff. No more tech. That's right. Stacy, great to have you. Let's do a rundown. Who do we got? We have Art, Drew, Jeff, Karen, Kathleen, Kim, Paula, Stacy, Susan, Tyler. All right. Sweet. Great. Well, that's an all-star cast right there. Karen says, bummer, I like tech. Well, don't worry, Karen. We got plenty of tech for you coming up. You'll have a smorgasbord of it. All right. So here we go, guys. You're looking at iTunes. All right. I want to just, as always, let's start with a review, okay? I don't want to assume that everybody's, I know you're all fast learners and everything, but let's just do a review here. And if you got any questions, type them right into the chat. This is the homepage of iTunes. These are your 13 categories. You will be deciding which one of these 13 that your show is going to appear in. In order to get a better understanding of your niche, go ahead and type into the search here any keywords that apply to what it is that you want to do and see what comes up, who's already talking about it, because success leaves clues. Would you agree with that statement, that success leaves clues? So if somebody has a successful podcast and you would like to have the similar type of results in that niche, go ahead and do a search for what's going on inside of that niche. So whatever that is, let's just do like we always do a live case study real quick. Type into the chat, what's your niche? And let's just use you as a live case study, something different than what we've used before. What do we got? Just type anything in there. First one up. Whoops. Yeah, you can see iTunes on a PC. Sure. You just got to download iTunes. So just go here. Follow the link. There you go. apple.com/iTunes/download and get after it. All right. Use that link. Entrepreneurial woman. Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay. Another one, older people and future older people who want to start or continue living an extraordinary life. You know, and I don't know if this applies, but baby boomer comes to mind, Paula, and boy, with 77 million of them retiring now in the next 10 to 15 years, that is a huge market. Baby boomer, anything. I mean, you could do baby boomer going on cruises, going rock climbing, learning WordPress, decorating, grandkids, lawn, mowing your lawn. I mean, anything. There's no wrong topic where you can go wrong there. Just a thought. As opposed to older people, because people, regardless of their age, don't typically want to refer to themselves as being old. You know, I have my brother's 67, my sister's 65, my other brother's 62, 61. Yeah, they wouldn't want to be referred to as older. They still think they're 21. All right, entrepreneurial woman. Entrepreneurial. Let's go women. plural. See what comes up. Side Hustle Pro Women, the Biz Chicks podcast, Be Wealthy, Smart, Money Millionaire, Glambition. That's an interesting play on words. Glambition. Happy Black Woman podcast, Bombshell Business podcast, Millions Women Entrepreneurial Talk, Rising Women's and Leaders. So what's going on here, guys? What are we seeing here? We're seeing a lot of talk about success, a lot of talk about money in these podcasts. Side Hustle Pro for women entrepreneurs. That actually says it right in the album art. They have 323 reviews, so they're pretty consistent with their podcast. Here's some ideas, Susan. I mean, you could planning next year like a CEO, visibility, leveraging strength. I would be looking at all of these topics. I mean, these are no joke. These are 45, 50, 1 hour long podcasts. Everyone's a mess, boundaries with clients, on-air coaching. So get some ideas from these. And oh, by the way, as we talk about today, guys, we're going to talk about downloads and marketing your podcast and things like that. And these would be, for example, this particular podcast, Natalie Ekdahl, MBA, would be somebody you'd want to interview on your show. You know what I mean? This is great networking. Where I would start networking is right here on iTunes, as far as building other like-minded individuals. Because I see in podcast groups all the time, hey, does anybody know how to get guests on your show or find guests for my podcast? And what they overlook is the obvious, iTunes. I mean, these are all podcasters who want more downloads of their show. And why would they not want to come on your podcast? So how do you get a hold of somebody? You know, how do you get a hold of the Biz Chicks? How do you get a hold of Natalie Ekdahl? Well, first thing I would do, and again, I'm not the smartest guy out there, but Natalie Ekdahl. Biz Chicks. There's the website. This goes for any niche, any podcast, anywhere to get people on your show who want to come on your show and add value. That looks like Natalie right there. It looks like she's a speaker about events, programs, contact. Boom. Name, email, subject, your message. Hey, Natalie, would love to have you on my Entrepreneurial Women's podcast. You can check us out on iTunes. Here's the link. Looking forward to hearing from you. I know my audience would love your message. And that is about as simple as it gets. And Natalie will get back to you. She'll come on your show. You can go on her show. And that's how you network with other fellow podcasters. It's not difficult, but people, here's all. I would write that email one time and send it and just cut and paste. Who's the next podcaster that you want to reach out to? Any one of these individuals. So again, just a review of everything that is here on iTunes, that's here for contacts, for networking, ideas for your show, podcast cover art. It appears to be there's a common theme here with the women under Entrepreneurial Women. They all like to have their photo on the album art. Not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that's an observation. If you want to stand out, maybe you don't have your photo, because it literally looks like every 95% of the people in here have their photo on here for Entrepreneurial Women. And like I said, you know, my advice, unless you're Oprah, you know, Tony Robbins, Bill Gates, someone having your photo on there isn't always the best idea, because it's not like it's going to bring any more listeners to the show. Because, oh my God, there's Natalie Ekdahl. Wow, I recognize her from blah, blah, blah. It's not going to be the case. So maybe instead of a photo on here, if you really want your album art to jump out, don't use a photo. Okay? Because remember, the whole secret to branding and marketing is to stand out. It's not to be the same. And if you look at these album art shows, a lot of them look the same, do they not? Like they just all kind of blend in together. Lady, smile on her face, looks successful, obviously. But maybe there's a different idea for you there. Okay. What are the questions, guys, before we dive into, if you have any other questions around Audacity, WordPress, iTunes, anything before we dive into today's chat? All about 33 voices really stands out. Karen said, where's 33 voices at? And I apologize, I may not be Did I go down too far? See what stands out to you guys. Up and to the right. Oh, yes. 33 voices right here. Yeah. Yep. It just startups and venture capital. And this could probably go under a number of topics. It just happens to be under entrepreneurial women. Okay. So get ideas from the album art, get ideas from the podcast, get idea. Look, a lot of people struggle. We're going to talk today about finding content for your show. Let's click on this one, be wealthy and smart. These are talking about 401ks, spending investment principle, high consumer confidence. This is more of a macro, looks like, podcast. It doesn't kind of dive into the individual. It's like more of a corporate type feel, but still get ideas. If any of these make sense to you, run with it. Rosetta Herman, June 4th. This is a niche. Happy Black Woman. I don't know if it's still, it looks like it's, yeah, no, this is talking about business as well. So get great ideas, guys. 310 reviews. That's no joke. She's onto something with it. Okay. All right. That is iTunes. Getting back to the homepage, pick one of the 13 categories. And remember, we're going to dive into a little bit also what we talked about last week, and that is your WordPress site once it's set up. And I keep saying WordPress site. You know, WordPress, it is a way to build a site, but all you do when you buy a domain name, you install WordPress on it. And that's why we're using Bluehost. When you go through everydayissaturday.com/hosting, that's all that is. Just a review, guys. This is from last week's training, but all you're doing is you're just setting up website hosting on your domain name. Okay, when you buy a domain name for $10, whether you buy it at GoDaddy, Namecheap, wherever, that doesn't give you a website, it just gives you that domain name. You have to go ahead and install hosting. That's why we went through that at the latter part of last week. Once you install hosting on that domain, that's where I said I'd be happy to set up WordPress on it. Install it. It's no charge. You're not charged for having WordPress. WordPress is just a design type. And then inside of WordPress, Blueberry gives you this thing called the PowerPress plugin. And this is what we talked about last week. You install this plugin, and this will become like, yeah, you can incite. You can, Jeff asked a question, did you redirect Bluehost in your WordPress site? No, if you have a domain name through another place like GoDaddy, Namecheap, something like that, all you do is point the domain at Bluehost. That's it. You just point it there, and that's where the site's set up. So we're going to also look at last week. Remember, these are your podcasts right here. This is the two that I just uploaded today, your calendar and your checkbook. That's actually a pretty cool podcast talking about, you can tell a lot about your life when you look at your calendar and your checkbook. Who's in your calendar? What kind of appointments do you have? And what were you making payments to? And that checkbook can be your online, could be QuickBooks, could be anywhere. Where are you spending your money and where are you spending your time? That'll tell you a lot about where you're going in life. And that was today's podcast, as well as 3 steps, launch your movement today. I did them in the car. I did them on my little Apple microphone, and I uploaded them to Dropbox like I showed you guys last week. Boom, brought them into Audacity, edited them, and you turn them into a podcast. How do we create a podcast post? After our audio is created inside of Audacity, we save it on our computer. Remember, we export it as an MP3. We just go here, make our podcast title. There it is. And then you go through you find it on your computer, you upload it. You can schedule podcasts to go out at a later date. So instead of publishing immediately right here, you can schedule it for November. You can make this November 10th if you want to, and just hit OK. And then you hit schedule instead of publish. And that way it doesn't go live until November 10th. So you can schedule these out. You don't need to do your podcast every day. You can batch them all in one day on a Monday morning, and then just have them all scheduled out later in the week. Okay. Back here, we're always going to be working inside of Blueberry and the plugin called PowerPress. That's the plugin for Blueberry. I sent you guys an email Saturday. Did you get it, about Spotify and how podcasts are blowing up on Spotify and how Spotify is looking to podcasting to save their platform? Okay. Jeff asks, you guys got that email. Cool. Should the podcast always be in a WAV file to import? No. Nope. Can be in any file you want because you're always going to export it as an MP3. Bring it into Audacity as an M4A file, a WAV file. You can bring it any audio file you want. Doesn't matter because you're going to be exporting it as an MP3 file. Okay. So this is Spotify and anything, Jeff, anything, any audio file. Doesn't matter. Okay. So you search, same thing. You search in iTunes. Remember we searched success in iTunes? Well, you type success inside of Spotify. You go to podcasts and videos, and these are all showing podcasts and videos for success. All right. And here's all the shows. Voila, the Everyday Saturday podcast. All right. So people, actually, it's wild. I've been getting messages on Instagram from people telling me they're listening to my show on Spotify, which is really cool. That's great. The benefit to Spotify is they don't have to pay me any royalties for putting my show on their platform. Whereas all the music that's on Spotify, they're paying royalties out. That's how they're losing so much money, is they're paying all those royalties out to, you know, the Taylor Swifts and all the other artists of the world, Bruno Mars. And I don't even know why I picked those two, maybe because I'm the father of three teenage daughters. And they're not making any money. Now, with your podcast on Spotify, that helps them because they don't got to pay you money, and it builds the content of their platform. How do you get on Spotify, though? I mean, seems pretty cool. Well, same way you get on iTunes. Here's where we are. We're inside the PowerPress plugin, and if you might have missed last week's training or you didn't have an opportunity to see it yet, we talked about how to set up PowerPress. It's the last of the tech. Last week was the last of the tech. Okay? So we set up PowerPress, and you know, you got all this stuff I told you I'd set up for you, no problem. All right. Now, remember, let's do a quick reminder as well. All right. This is what you need to send me, your Blueberry login. everydaysaturday.com/hosting. Send me that login once you set up Bluehost hosting. All right. Send me your podcast cover art. And then send me the main category, the title of your podcast, and what category you want to go in. Where do you find that stuff? Right here under feeds. You don't need to put this in, but I need to know where you're sending this. I'm sorry. It's right here under Apple. I need to know what category you're going in out of all these. Okay. And which one, you can just, if you don't even want to go inside of PowerPress, just go here and pick a category. All right. And then send me this information, guys. All right. And I'm gonna get you to a certain point, and I'm gonna send it back to you to submit. And I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. Okay. So these are the things I need. All right. Now, when you get to this page, when you give me all that information, I'm gonna send everything back to you. I'm gonna say, all right, you're good to go. I got all these tabs taken care of. All right, I got your artwork, setting you up in Apple, your feeds, all this good stuff. Not setting you up on iTunes, submitting it yet, just setting it up how it's going to appear once it's submitted. You're going to submit your show to iTunes because recently iTunes has gotten a little bit quirky with their look. First of all, I would be happy to do it. But there's going to be this thing called a two-factor authentication. You guys know what that is? Like maybe Amazon, you have it on your Amazon. It's another layer of security where you go to get into your Apple account, your iTunes, your Amazon, and it pings your smartphone and sends you a 6-digit code. It's kind of a pain in the butt. If I were to submit this to iTunes and click the button, you and I would literally have to be on the phone together. Okay, did you get that digit? Did you get the 6-digit? Okay, send it to me. It's a pain in the butt. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this, okay? I'm going to send you a video when you get me this stuff right here. So I want to make sure this makes sense. So we're not going to go any further until you guys tell me this makes sense. You send me all this. It's not really all this, just a few things, all right? Your login information, your album art, title, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get everything set up, and then you're going to hit this submit podcast to Apple. And I'm going to shoot a video showing you how to do this. It's literally going to be a 2-minute video. It's super simple to do. And it's going to save us a ton of time because then we don't have to figure out that whole, hey, what's the 6-digit code? Did you get it? Oh, sorry, I was in the car. I didn't get it. You know, all that stuff. All right. You send me all that. I'm going to get you all the way ready. So all you literally need to do, is hit that submit button right here. Submit podcast to Apple. You're going to follow these instructions, and I'm going to shoot a quick video showing you what to do, and then you're going to submit it to Apple. Does that make sense? Let me see a yes or a no. Yes or no. Does that make sense on how you're going to get your show on iTunes? Jeff, yes. Michelle, yes. Stacy, yes. Lakia, yes. Kimberly, Art, yes, right now. Right now. I love that qualifier. Right now, yes. Yes, 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 Paula. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So I just want to make sure that's super clear. And so how do you get on Spotify? Well, same thing. When you submit instead of hitting submit to Apple, after you've done that, come down here. Submit to Spotify. Okay? Here's the requirement. What this is, Blueberry has made it real. This is why I love Blueberry, because they've made it easy to go into Stitcher Radio, the TuneIn app, Apple. This is the Blueberry podcast directory, but Google, here's the thing. Google Play, they phased out their Google, their podcasting platform. Disregard that. It's just available through a Google search now, so don't worry about it. You don't got to go in any kind of podcast directory. You're going to go into 3 places. Apple, Stitcher, 4, TuneIn, and Spotify. And it's real simple, because all they're going to ask you for is this feed URL right here. You're going to find this feed URL everywhere. It's the most important component of your podcast, because it's the only way that iTunes or Spotify or anybody even knows that you've uploaded any content, okay? That feed. So that feed is developed right here. And remember, guys, being on this training has probably saved you in the future a full-blown heart attack. Why? Because other people that are using, I don't know, you pick it. We talked about this, but SoundCloud or Podbean or Anchor or anything like that, they go out of business, say bye-bye to your podcast. Oh, but wait, Sam, I have 150 episodes. Yep, bye-bye. They own that feed. You don't own it. The beauty of setting up your podcast on your own domain through a third party like Blueberry, who doesn't give a crap if they own your domain or not, they don't even want to do that, they just want to host your content, is that if Blueberry goes out of business tomorrow, this feed doesn't. This feed stays the same. You just move it to another host provider, okay? That's the beauty. So being on this training, and look, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just saying most people don't know this. Like if they weren't trained on this, they wouldn't know. They would just go, oh my God, it's free. It's great. Wow, I can host my audios and they don't charge me anything. Yeah, because when they go out of business, so all your content goes away, you know? So that's a big plus. That's a big, big plus. That nobody's going to appreciate that out of the gate, but you will when you start seeing these other directories go out of business, okay? That is very important. How do I know? Because it happened to me, okay? All righty. Yes, Michelle. Yes, Catherine. You're welcome. You're welcome. My pleasure. All right. So, man, I got so much to cover with you guys. What else did I want? I got so much to cover. So much to cover. I'm fired up. I'm fired up. Hold on one second. Let me take a drink of water. Calm down a second, because I get a little bit too excited when it comes to podcasting, and I got to make sure that I don't, fall over here. All right. Let's talk about Zoom. Yes or no? Do you currently have a Zoom account? Yes or no? Just type it into the chat. Yes. Yes, yes, no. Okay. No, yes, free account. Okay. Free's fine. Lakia, okay. No. Okay. So, someone's like, yo, yes. Okay. Yes, no. All right. You can start with a free account. Sign up for it. You're going to get, you get 40 minutes on meetings, which is where the way I'm going with this. This is how I interview all my people. When I do interviews, I interview them through Zoom. Why? Because just like this webinar is being recorded, Zoom records your interview with you could literally interview somebody from all the way across the world. Like I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. I could do an interview with somebody in Sydney, Australia, and it would sound crystal clear. They would be on Zoom. I'd be on Zoom. I just send them a link. Like you got the link for this webinar. We both show up. There doesn't need to be any video. You don't need to start the video. If you want to, you can record it in video, but all you're looking for is an audio file. All right. And so you guys can interview anybody, Canada, North America, South America, Europe, Australia, Asia, wherever you want. Just send them your Zoom link. And even if you only sign up for the free account, you still get 40 minutes. So as long as you keep your interview under 40 minutes, you're good to go. Okay. This is the plan I have right here. It's I have actually $70 a month because I have webinars. So forget what I just said about me. $14.99 is, if you want to do this, it's unlimited. All right. You can have an hour-long interview with somebody, whatever. Okay. And what happens is Zoom, remember I said Zoom saves that, okay, as an audio file. And then all you do is you bring that audio file into Audacity, that interview, and you just do like you would do if you save something to Dropbox. You would just go File, Import, Audio. And I'll actually, well, let me see here if I've got, see if I can find one real quick. I won't hold you guys up, but DUBNER interview I did. I can't remember the last one, but I know I did one with Ken. Let me see, Ken Dubner here. This is the file. Okay, so I did an interview with a guy named Ken Dubner. All right, he's a hypnotist out on the West Coast. A friend of mine, met him a few years back. Nice guy. And so we were talking about how to build confidence. And so I interviewed him on Zoom. It saved it. This is for Jeff. His question: can you bring any audio file? Zoom saves your audio files as a .m4a, which is great. No problem at all. It's just an audio file. You're going to save it as an MP3. Bring it in. Let me even see if this is the right one. Oh, this isn't the right one. Okay. I don't know where I saved that. Bear with me. Bear with me. Oh, live training pressure. Live training pressure. Let me just see here. I know it was December. Ken podcast interview. Let me see here. Is it this one? It's taking longer. It might be. Oh boy, because we talked for like an hour. All right. I just want to show you what's going to happen when you save your interview with somebody. Oh, cool. This is it. All right. So this is our entire time on Zoom. This wasn't the entire interview. This was the entire time that we were on Zoom. We talked for a little bit. I'm just trying to find where we would have started. So it's like, whoops.
Hey, Sam. Yo, Ken, what's going on? Hey, good morning to you.
Okay, so that was us getting ready for the interview.
Sounds good. So, all right, sit tight for 5-10 seconds here. Go quiet.
So I tell the guest to go quiet. What I just did with Ken, I said, hey, we're going to go quiet for 5 to 10 seconds. Don't say anything. Because you just want kind of a, you can say 5 seconds, 10 seconds. It doesn't really matter. But right in here is where we started. You can see the gap. So that's why I was telling him that.
Man, sounds good. So, all right, sit tight for 5-10 seconds here. Go quiet. Hey everyone, it's Sam Crowley. Welcome back to the Everyday Saturday podcast. I got a great Saturday story to.
Okay, so that's Ken and mine. You can hear Ken too somewhere in here. I don't even know. Doesn't matter, but in case you hear the sound.
Because I've lived a lifestyle around the evening time. I see clients afternoon time.
Okay, so can you hear? It's pretty clear on Ken's end. It's pretty clear on my end. We're both using a mic. He's probably using a Blue Yeti or something similar to that. I'm using a Blue Snowball. Nothing expensive. He's just got a typical USB mic into his computer, and I have mine. And we both just clicked on the Zoom link. Zoom saved it as an MP4 file, and we were off and running. Now, what do you do after the interview? How do you edit this? Well, you know how to edit it, right? Because you brought this into Audacity. So right here, where we go quiet, right here.
So, all right, sit tight for 5-10 seconds here. Go quiet.
Okay, what are we going to do, guys? You know the answer to this question. We're gonna take this here, right at where we went quiet. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning. We're just going to click and drag. We're going to hit cut right here. Boom.
Hey everyone, it's Sam Crowley. Welcome back to the Everyday.
That's it. That's all we do. Now you bring in your intro music, file, import, bring in your intro music, and that goes at the beginning of your podcast, just like we talked about in week one. Just like we talked about in week one. The only difference is you brought an audio file in from your Zoom interview. And guys, you can literally, if your podcast is interview based, this is gold for you because it's just literally cut, paste, import, you're done. That's all. And you can do that with a free Zoom account, the $14.99. If you can swing $14.99, I would do it, but start free. Just start with free. Okay? Does that make sense? How to do the interview process. Okay, because a lot of times when you get people on Skype and things like that, Skype is nice, but have you ever been on Skype with somebody and it's like a little, that goes in and out. Stacy said no. Are you saying no, you don't understand, Stacy? And if so, what don't you understand? Oh, Stacy said yes. I'm sorry. Good. I misread that. I think you said no, that you didn't have Zoom. I'm sorry. Okay. So that is a great way because it's so easy to grab a Zoom link, send it to someone, jump on an interview. Even if you're like, oh, geez, I only got 30 minutes. Great. Here's the link. Let's go. All right. That's the one thing I wanted to show you about interviewing. Now, let's talk a little bit about how to get people to your podcast, okay? Skype crashed my computer. Yeah, I've heard that before too, Kathleen. No fun. All right. In iTunes, you may or may not know this. If we shared this we may have talked about this on week 1, but I'm going to tell you why this is kind of weird. When your show goes live and you have it on there, you're going to have people are going to be able to subscribe to your show. Okay. And then you can be able to share on Twitter, share on Facebook, or just copy the link. Don't use either one of these, by the way. If you happen to copy the link, that's going to send them to your iTunes page right there. I just did copy it. Okay. I copied the link. We're going to go back over to right here. I'm going to put the link in here. Look at that. Is that a mess or what? Would you send this link to somebody? I mean, this is literally the link to my podcast page. You can't market that. That's crazy. But inside of your WordPress site, and this is what I want to share with you guys, you can download a free plugin called Pretty Links. Okay? And what Pretty Links does is it allows you to customize a link and kind of do a prettier link. Okay. Let me go back here. Well, let me just show you what I got here. I'm going to go File, New Window, Every Day, and I'll show you how I did this. Every Day is Saturday, everydayissaturday.com/iTunes. What? This is the same link. Okay. But what I did was, this is the same link as this right here. But instead of saying, hey, go to itunes.apple.com/US/podcast, motivation-inspiration- okay. Instead of doing all that, I went into Pretty Links and I went Every Day is Saturday podcast. Okay. And I took that, see this? I took that long, obnoxious looking URL that I got, and I just did everydayissaturday.com, which is the default for your Pretty Link. It's really just your website /. I just put iTunes. That's it. So now if somebody's like, hey, how do I get to your podcast? And I don't send them the website, or I put it on Twitter or Facebook or something. See, it's everydayissaturday.com /iTunes. That's it. You don't even need a website. Like, you could have your domain. I mean, you need a WordPress site, but what I mean, you don't need a podcast page for your website. Like everybody, until you get your fancy podcast page and get it all set up perfectly, you can just set it up like that, no big deal. So if you want to post this, all you do is you just download this Pretty Links plugin. And how do you download a plugin? We showed you last week. You go to Plugins, Add New, and you just search for Pretty Links and you install it. And all you do is say, add a new link. It's what is right here. Add Pretty Link. And it's going to ask you what you want to add. And it's going to be everydayissaturday.com /, and I'm going to put iTunes in there. And yours would be whatever your domain name is /iTunes. And that's how you would send people directly to your page. That's how you, Jeff says, that's how you did Bluehost. No, that's not. Bluehost is hosting. This is completely separate. This is just a plugin. This is all hosted on Bluehost on WordPress. You might be getting Bluehost confused with something else. Yeah, I'm just simply using a plugin. Okay. But anyway, that is how you can tell people, hey, just go to my website.com/iTunes and check out my podcast. All right. Another way is to talk about getting joint ventures, getting people excited, or getting downloads to your podcast. Social media, guys. I mean, you already know this, so I'm not going to do a whole training on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all of that stuff. You guys already know about those platforms. What you need to do now is you need to start promoting those platforms, your podcast on there, you know? And so how do you do that? Well, I'm a big Twitter fan. Like I love to search it, you know? I like my stories to get there. I think somebody on this training last week was keto, right? We got somebody in here doing keto diet. I just typed in, I'm in the search bar for Twitter right now. And I just typed in how to keto. That's literally all I did. And inside of here is how long does it take to get into ketosis? Keto diet. So what are we looking at now? Well, we're looking at content. All right. Because a lot of people are like, man, am I going to run out of content? Well, where do I get enough things to talk about? I'm not sure I even have enough content. Do any of you have that concern that, hey, I've got my first 20 shows, but I'm not so sure I can do this thing for every day for 5 years from now? I mean, come on, man, really? Yeah, of course. A lot of people have that. I had that concern. I'm like, wow, what are we going to talk about? Like you wake up and it feels like your mind is just like, sometimes it's just like, is there anything in there right now? I just feel like I've got no capacity to think. Well, I love to come into Twitter, for example, type in how to speak, how to market, how to find my passion, how to find my purpose, all of that stuff. And I'll get great ideas for content for my show. And if you want to find people or find content for your show, just type the keyword into the search here. All right. And see what other people are talking about. The Beginner's Guide to Keto Diet. Okay. By the way, these would be great ideas for interviews for your guys' show. All this thing, how to make boiled eggs in an air fryer. Oh, wow. That's crazy. All these things. Okay. This is great content for your show. If I was doing a keto podcast, I'd be coming in here and I'd be like, wow. I would even talk about, hey, I was checking somebody out on Twitter and they were talking about how to make boiled eggs in an air fryer. It's crazy, you know? And that would be all of this stuff is potential content. You know what this is also? Oh, that's a great idea. How to do keto on a tight budget. Check out this list of keto choices you can get from local dollar store. That would be a great topic if I was doing that type of podcast. But you know what this is also great for? Finding joint venture partners for interviews. Remember we talked about going on iTunes and that's the easiest. Like that just makes so much sense because you could talk to other podcasters to come on your show. They already know what a podcast is. But this Moscato Mom, I would simply reply back, love this, would love, if I could type, would love to have you on my podcast. My audience would think this content is great. And what do you think I'm going to give her, right? I'm going to go blah, blah, blah. Every day is Saturday.com/iTunes. Check out my show here. You can check out my show here. And if I was actually looking, I'm literally not even looking up while I'm typing. You can check out my show here. Okay. Twitter, love it. It's how I connect with people on there. It's how you just do amazing joint ventures on there. You reply back to people. It's so simple. Give me another topic. Somebody else. What are you doing? What's your topic? We'll use a live case study real quick here as well to show you that whatever it is you want to search on here, you can find it as far as content for your show. Give me an idea of what you guys are working on, what your niche is. Chat's stopped up just a second. Health and wellness. Jeff, what specifically health and wellness? Specifically, what inside of there? Give me something a little more micro than health and wellness, because it's going to bring us. It could bring us anything under there. While we're waiting for that as well, this is my Instagram page. This is another great. If you guys aren't on Instagram right now, this is where I get a ton of business, and you will too, because it's really easy to search. I put keto diet into here as well. Okay. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Everyday is Saturday. It's Instagram.com/Everyday is Saturday. Just type that in. Now I'm on the desktop version though. So being on the actual keto diet. So you've got keto, 8.8 million posts about it, 3.5 million hashtag keto diet. Click on this one. And again, I mean, just ideas upon ideas upon ideas, you know, low carb fruits, for example, you know, keto essential, all of this stuff. Guys, you will never run out of content just using simple social media searching strategies. Okay. Let's say here, let's just type in personal growth here, Jeff. It's still way too general, but how about procrastination? Can we put that in there? How about how to stay motivated? Whoop. Okay. How to stay in shape, eat right, become a better, faster, stronger you at Alphabolics. That would be somebody who might be a joint venture partner for you. Read on for some biz tips on how to stay motivated. These are endless amounts of content. Tips on how to stay motivated. I just lost 4 hours due to procrastination. I really need to do my essay, but it's my only day off for 3 weeks. Now I'm really trying to resist. Would this be a good client? Would this be somebody that you would hit the reply button, reply back and say, hey, check out my free digital download at xyz.com. It's an ebook, it's an audio, it's a video that will help you crush procrastination long-term. Would that be a good client? Of course, that'd be a great lead. That's a way you get leads into your email, okay? Is you reply back to people on Twitter who need this kind of help and you send them to your landing page. If you guys don't have a funnel, you need a funnel. You just do. I mean, you can't be in marketing at the end of 2018 going into 2019 without a funnel. You just need a way to monetize your message. And the easiest way to monetize your message is, and this is what I talked about on my podcast today, find a hungry market that has money, okay? Because you can't monetize something if someone else doesn't have money to give you. Find out what they need and then become the best person at providing them what they need. That's it. That's all you need to do. And how do you do it? These people are like, this is what I show people every time I do this type of training on Twitter. I show people, hey, you want to make $1,000 this week? Great. And anybody here design websites? Awesome. I need a website. I had a guy do this, make thousands of dollars literally in a week. I need a website. How can you help design one for me and cost, please? 13 people replied back. I'd be like, hey, here you go. Check out my link right now. Get started. What's your number? I'll call you. You call me. I need a web designer to update my website for a job. Anyone? Please retweet. I need a pro bono. Nope, don't have money. That doesn't meet your target market right there. I need a website design building for a small startup. Any suggestions, please? Okay, I need a website designer. Okay. So all of this, just all you do is type in, I need a website. You write the message ahead of time, copy, paste, reply, copy, paste, reply, copy, paste, reply. You do it all day long on Twitter. And it could be anything. I need motivation. Okay. All this stuff. You can just reply back. I need to find some motivation for school because I have none. All right. I lost my motivation. Really sucks. I need to start going again. All right. Some of this stuff is kind of, all right. They don't need motivation. They need a lot more than that. But you know what I mean? Like you can find a lot of business on here. Okay. But let's get back to why we got on Twitter in the first place. Okay. We got on Twitter to find content, so we never run out of things to talk about. We've already proven there's thousands of people within your niche. Let's go growing older. I don't know if that was Paula's or somebody else. All this. Growing older, growing up. All these people are talking about growing older. Okay. Baby boomer. All this content. All this stuff you can talk about, all these people that you can joint venture with, you can do interviews with. This is just content. Like, you would never run out of stuff to talk about. How the vegan lobby made a cool baby boomer feel like a fuddy-duddy. Oh, gosh, that's funny. All right. Let's see here. Going to IG, do you think it's worth time to add Twitter to that? I'm going backwards, but I was going to do Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just using Twitter as an example. You can find all the content you want on Facebook, on Pinterest, on Instagram. Yes. Social media, guys, it's a never-ending reservoir of content. It just is, and you can go there to never run out of things to talk about. But if you want even more, Google. Bear with me 1 second. My mind is just gone blank for a second. Content. Google.com/. Hold on. Oh God, what is it that, thanks, Sam, great training. Run to grab my kid. You got it, Kimberly. You got it. We'll catch you on the replay. Let me do this while my brain is fried. Okay. Let's talk about interviews, content, ideas for your show. Give me another. We got Jeff with personal growth and transformation. We had another one. Give me an idea, somebody. About everybody on the webinar. What are you working on? What are you working on? What's your niche? We're on Amazon right now. Let's see. Okay, one more. Deodorant. What exactly do you mean by deodorant? Now you got me curious. For Amazon, I'm looking for, what are you guys working on? Your niche. What's your podcast going to be about? What's your podcast going to be about? You guys are crazy, man. All right, let me see here. We'll go back to salon ownership. Really? That's what your podcast can be about. Okay, that's cool. Let's see if we got anything on here. Now, that's different. I've never had a salon ownership. Ready, Set, Go, the startup guide for opening, remodeling, and running a successful beauty salon. Would that help in ideas for what to talk about on your podcast? Would this be a good person to joint venture with? Salon ownership and management, the definitive guide to the professional beauty business. Okay. Hair salon ownership. Failure is not an option. How to open a beauty salon. Hair salon ownership. Success matters. Okay. So all of these, Kathleen, would be ideas for content for your show. Joint venture partners that you can do business with. You can promote their book, promote their content. They can promote you, your content. You can have them on your podcast for great content and let them know, hey, I just saw your book on Amazon. That's amazing. We're both in the same niche. I would love to have you come on my show and talk about this, And why not? Everybody, who wouldn't want to promote their book? No, I don't want to come on your podcast because I don't want to sell more books. That just doesn't make any sense to me. So this is a great way. Amazon is a great way to find authors where you can reach out to them, have them on your podcast. And this works for anything. I mean, anything. Okay. So whatever topic you have, Michelle, embrace and explore the grace and gifts you've received through the people who've crossed your path. Perfect. Energy Poor, when do you do joint ventures? Do you get a percentage of sales, or is it just helping? It's just helping each other promote. JV, joint venture. Now you can get if you want to do an affiliate relationship, we're going to talk about that on next week's training, where we talk about monetizing your podcast. And that's basically you have somebody come on your show, you interview them. Yeah, then you have a call to action, send them to wherever they want to send them to as far as any type of sales page where people make a purchase. Let's say you're promoting somebody's live event and they're charging $1,000 for it. And they set up a special affiliate page only for you. So it's like everydaysaturday.com/Susan. So everybody that goes to everydaysaturday.com/Susan, they make a purchase, you get a percentage, whatever you work out with that person. Okay. So we'll talk about that next week as far as affiliate relationships. But as far as we're mainly today talking about marketing and how to get more downloads of your podcast. But even before that, how to find content so you never run out of things to talk about. Never, ever run out of content for your podcast. And then talking about, well, geez, how do I get more downloads? Well, like we were saying on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever your social media platform of choice is, that's where you need to be telling people. I'm a big Facebook guy for marketing, but not for consumer. Like I don't go on there every day and talk about politics like most people do. Matter of fact, I stay away from both of those on Facebook. But I use it. I have an agency. We run Facebook ads for clients. So I do have a Facebook ads agency where we run traffic for clients. So a lot of the leads I get are paid leads. But if I were you starting out with this podcast that you have right now, I would start on my personal Facebook page and start telling people that, hey, check out my podcast, guys. It's over here on iTunes. You can check it out. It's right. And give them that link. Give them the link right to iTunes. Send them right there. And it simply is making because if you start doing it on your personal Facebook page, then once you launch a group and once you have a business page, you do the same thing. And then people get used to, and then all you got to do is send them there enough time so they hit the subscribe button. Then they'll start getting notified when you have a new podcast. I wouldn't spam your Facebook page with your podcast link, but I would definitely be putting up there once a week. Hey guys, new podcast, check it out. It's on hey, we'll see Art, take care about it. And just say, check it out, guys, got a new podcast, and send them the link. That's it. New podcast up. It's harmless, and it reinforces the fact, yes, do okay, great, got it. Okay. So we're talking about today how to get people to your podcast, how to get more downloads, and how to do joint ventures and how to get interviews for your show, and then never run out of content to talk about. Okay. And Amazon is a great way to do it because I've never met an author who did not want to talk about their book. And I don't care. Here's the thing you got to realize, guys. It doesn't matter if you only have 10 people subscribed to your show right now. Remember, these podcasts never go away. Okay. So there's two things that work right here. Your podcasts never go away. They're on here forever. And this book never comes off Amazon. Okay. So those two things are working. 5 years from now, you'll be sending them to your podcast or to a page that you set up for it, and it's never going to go away. Is it better to get downloads on iTunes or from your own site? Some people, let me take a sip of water. It's a great question, Paul. Hold on. Some people don't ever want anybody off their website. They always want them on their website because for whatever reason, they feel like they've got banners on there or products to buy, and maybe they'll stick around and buy. I send people to iTunes because it's just, I think for me, it really legitimizes because if you listen to most podcasters will say, hey, listen to my show wherever you get your podcasts. They don't say go to my website, go to everydaysaturday.com/podcasts. No, you could simply say, hey, wherever you get your podcast from, check mine out. It's called Every Day Saturday. But I take it one step further. Make sure you subscribe to my podcast on iTunes, and that's it. Give them the name. I send them to iTunes because I know iTunes will always be up. Now, not that my site ever goes down, but yours might. Your site might crash. And what if your site's down and somebody goes there to listen to your podcast, or let's say your site gets malware and people go there and they get a warning that tells them you can't proceed, site, dangerous site. You'll never get that on iTunes. All right, iTunes is never going to have malware. It's never going to be down. Your show's always going to be there. So that's where I would be sending people. And it works for every podcaster. Most podcasters say, check out the podcast on iTunes. All right. One last thing I wanted to show you guys. If you want to get a little crazy with your design and stuff, anybody have a Canva account? Canva. Anybody have a Canva account? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Susan, Catherine, Karen. Oh, look at all the holy cow. I think the question could have been, who does not have one? I would have been better off. Everybody's got one. Well, that's great, man. All right, Paul, Lakia. Okay, cool. Has a sad face. That's funny. Don't worry, guys. You're not going to the back of the class if you don't have a Canva account. I was just laughing at how many people right out of the gate were fine. Yes. Okay, so inside Canva, this, again, is free, okay? You can just simply create images and put your podcast link or your podcast, you know what I mean? Like everydayissaturday.com, or I'm sorry, everydaysaturday/iTunes on there. And just make a simple thing that you can put up on, these are all of these, so bear with me as these are all the different designs that I've done. But you can put your link in an image, everydaysaturday.com/iTunes. Okay. Look at our daughter, Susan. Isn't that crazy? God, she hooked up to that trait. You almost forget that she was ever on a trait. It's the craziest thing, man. So put an image up here of you. You could put speaking. This is just me standing outside my front porch, me with Robert Kiyosaki, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. And put this on Instagram. And again, it never comes down. And it can simply be like this link right here. These links aren't clickable, but it doesn't matter. It's on your Instagram account. So where I'm going with this is me promoting my free Facebook group, okay? So I put an image of a lady who, this person's actually in Israel, started listening to my podcast in Israel and changed her life. That's her words, not mine. But anyway, she held up that sign, says, "Every day is Saturday. Thank you, Sam Crowd." And I just used that image and I put it on Instagram for people to join my Facebook group. You could do the exact same thing. It could be an image of you, and just you could be holding up a sign that says subscribe to my podcast, or you could just put text over here. It says subscribe to the podcast, yourwebsite.com/iTunes. It's as easy as that. This is how you take advantage of a platform like Instagram. I would put this on Facebook as well. And the more places you get creative, you send people to your podcast, the more downloads you get, the more opportunity to monetize your show, which is a great segue into what we're going to be talking about next week. You have all these downloads that are happening now. You got all this great content you're talking about. You're driving people to your podcast. How do you monetize these downloads? So that's where we're going to pick up next week. Excuse me. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we've covered today? Any questions? It's already the top of the hour. It literally went that fast. That's crazy. Time flies when you're talking about podcasting. You know what I mean? Anybody have any questions at all about this content? Thank you, Karen. Anything? I'll stay here as long as you need me to answer any questions you have. So after week 3, let's take a look at where we are. Week 1, we talked about Audacity, okay? You're going to be recording your show, your intro, your extra, the editing, all of that. You're going to export that as an MP3 file, okay? That MP3 file gets hosted on Bluehost, And that's going to be done through your WordPress site. After your show goes live, you're going to now focus on, how do I get more downloads in my show? Like, how can I market? What are the different places? Well, keep it simple. Keep it simple. If you were to tell anybody about you or what you have working, where would you go? You would go to Facebook. You'd go to Twitter. You'd go to LinkedIn. You'd go to YouTube. You'd go to Pinterest. You can go to Instagram. Wherever you want to put that content out to get downloads. Question from Paula. Will you be talking about interview skills? I would love to, Paula. Can you send me an email specifically with questions surrounding interviewing, what you'd like to know? Can you do that before Monday of next week? And I will promise I'm going to talk about interviewing skills, because I'm sure you're not the only one with that question. Yes, I would love to. Guys, next week's our last week. Okay, I know. Sad. I can hear the sadness coming through my computer speakers. Okay. But next week, I'll go 8 hours if you need me to. I want your questions. Okay. Whatever questions you feel. It's neither, Susan. It's not WordPress.com or org. It's WordPress that's downloaded. It certainly isn't WordPress.com. But you're not doing anything through, you don't want to do anything through WordPress.com or .org, because that's not through your domain. You need to buy a domain and install WordPress on that domain. Stay away from WordPress.com. That's not you. Yes. Easy to get confused. Guys, don't go to WordPress.com or org. Neither. Stay away. You're downloading WordPress on your domain. And there's no charge to add WordPress to your hosting. Okay. So stay away. Thank you, Susan. Great question. All right. So before next Monday, email me any question you want. I don't care what it's about under this topic of podcasting, marketing, download, editing, whatever it is, and I'll make sure I cover it next week. Okay. Yeah, easy to get confused on that, Susan. And by the way, you're not the only one with that question. It's come up. All right, guys. Let's see it. So far now, week 3. How we doing? Still going strong? You fired up still like you were on week 1? Let's see it. Yes or, let me say, is it yes or yes? Yes, yes. Fired up. Beautiful. All right. You guys can do this. You guys can absolutely do this. Okay. Michelle, Lakia, yes. You guys, if I can do it, you can do it. I started just like you did. I didn't have any knowledge of any of this stuff. And you're welcome, Stacy. And I had nobody that was teaching me any of this stuff. I'm giving you the cheat codes to this podcasting thing so you can get up and running quickly. And I want to make sure every single question you have gets answered. Okay. So you email me before next Monday, or if you think of something, see you, Jeff. Thanks, buddy. And if you think of something on the webinar next week live, then we'll answer it then. I'll go as long as you guys want me to go. I want to make sure that this was the best training you've ever purchased. That's my goal. Okay. You'll have the replay in your inbox tomorrow morning. It's always the same link anyway. So the links I've been sending out every Tuesday morning, just click that link, but you'll get another email from me tomorrow morning reminding you that the replay for this webinar is available, and we'll be good to go. Okay. So you're welcome, Kathleen. You guys have an amazing rest of your week. God bless you. Stay safe. Get that message out there. Get that marketing out there. And remember, there's an audience out there waiting for you. Their audience is literally waiting for you to get going. Okay. And I can't wait to see your show on iTunes. Anything I can do to help, you let me know. We'll see you, Karen. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.